You've been warned. Don't make this mistake. What mistake? Warned about what? It's a video game. You can play how you want. There are lots of ways to play a video game. Those types of titles and shock and awe descriptions always make me chuckle because there is no right way and wrong way to play an RPG like Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. It is true that there are complexities to the skill tree. And I got asked the other day if I could give a video on like the best way to spend your attributes for a starting character. And this is the one game where I don't think I can make that type of a guide because I do for a lot of other games. I make like newbies guides, beginners guides, like what's the, some of the best stats and so on and so forth. And the reason I can't do that is because in this game, more so than many of the other RPGs I play, the gear sets that you have they have their own stat requirements. So as an example, if we go up here and look at my Wolf's Fang daggers, they require 7 dexterity. Meanwhile, my bow requires 5 dexterity. I'm looking at the wrong screen here. 6 dexterity, 6 perception. And if I look at, as an example over here on my gear, 4 dexterity and 8 perception for the assassin's gear that I have. And then as an example, I don't think I have any on me at the moment to look at, but some of the bows that you can get, yeah, I've sold all my gear recently, so I can't check those out. If you look at some of the war bows, they have a strength component on them as well. And today we got a set of gear off of Percival, the 2 swords that we got off of Percival, which had a strength requirement, a perception requirement, and an endurance requirement. So when you go into the character stats and the attributes, like everybody starts with like 1s across the board here, right? There is no right way or wrong way to spend your points in this game, because it's all going to be gear dependent. And what you're probably going to end up doing is what I ended up doing, which is you start your character, you don't know anything about the game, you're playing it for the first time, you don't know what weapons you're going to come across, you don't know what gear you're going to come across. And so you spec for the stats that you want. You're looking for, oh, I want to be an agile, fast character, I'm going to put points into dexterity because that's going to help me with, my dexterity based, like you can go in here to your skill trees. I'd be like, okay, I want to be a fast character who focuses on attack speed and movement, but I also want to focus on daggers. So I would go perception and dex, right? That's all well and good, but what if you come across a pair of short swords that give you really cool stealth damage or sneak bonus, but they have a strength requirement? Well, if you haven't put any points into strength, you're not going to be able to use those daggers. So this is one of those scenarios where you literally cannot make a wrong decision. You can't make a mistake in this game because everything you're doing is based around the fact that at some point you're going to get a hold of these potions of origin. And those potions of origin allow you to respec your character, and that allows you to accommodate for the gear sets that you're going to find as you get deeper into the game. I don't know if I have any on me right now or if I have put them in my stash box. Let's go over here and look. Let's see here. Weapons, magic. I don't know that I have any at the moment. I do. There's one right there. It's this right here. Origin Potion. Resets your skills and stat points. Now, you don't come across these very frequently, at least not that I've discovered. They do, occasionally pop up. I've come across a few of them in my travels so far, and I have respec'd accordingly based on getting new gear sets. So when it comes to like what's the best spec for new players, what's the best attribute point, where's the best place for me to spend my attribute points, I can't tell you that. And there's no right way or wrong way to do it, because unless you're planning on, unless you've already played the game and you already know the very specific like weapon or armor type that you're going to go into the game and find, unless you know specifically that. And I think there may be, I need to check with Slandered on this because he's finished the game. Mortissimo might have a video up on this as well. There is a New Game Plus mode, and I think when you go into the New Game Plus mode, You'll have carryover gear from your first playthrough, but that doesn't apply to new players. Like new players, you're not going to know what weapons exist in the game. You're not going to know what armor you want to go for. So where you're going to be spending your points is based upon the play style that you want. And then along the way, you're going to be picking up gear that you can use. And maybe you'll find some things like what I did in the early days was I was putting points into dex and the perception because that's where I figured I was going to be a stealth archer. But then I found a couple of bows that I wanted, which required me to have at least 3 strength. So then I put some points into strength. Then I eventually got deep enough into the game. I had also, at that point, I was running gear that had endurance. So I'd put like 3 points into endurance. But then I came across the assassin's set of gear. And the assassin's set of gear doesn't have an endurance requirement. It was just dexterity and perception. So then I went, okay, well, I'm going to respec so that I can wear this assassin's set of gear along with these really cool Wolf's Fang weapons. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand, which required me to have a 7 dexterity. So that I got rid of the endurance gear and I went from there. So the reality is that however you choose to play Tainted Grail, there's no such thing as a mistake or doing something wrong. The reality is just that you have to figure out how you want to play and then go from there. Because everything changes so much too based on as you go through the game, you're going to be facing challenges and you might decide that somebody asked us this morning, can you change classes? There's not really classes in the game. There's just abilities and attributes. So as you go through the game, you can change at will. So you might decide you get 4 hours into the game, you don't like the way the magic system works, or you don't like the two-handed weapon that you've been using, and you decide you're going to respec. You can do a hard save, use an origin potion, respec over to whatever weapon style it is that you want to use. Go try that out for a little bit, and then just reload and try something different out. And you could try lots of different specs that way and figure out something that works for you. There is no right way or wrong way of doing things. So when you dive into Tainted Grail, just think of it this way. This game is a little bit the same as many other RPGs that you might have played, but it's also a lot different than many of the other RPGs you've played because things are not as set in stone as they are in other games, and there's a lot of fluidity based on the gear that you're finding in the game and your willingness to either spec for that piece of gear or just say, whatever, I'm going to make my own gear and use the stuff that I craft and go from there. So it's up to you. So you have been warned. The game is really flexible. That's the warning. You've been warned. The game is really flexible and it's really hard. I would argue impossible to make a bad decision because you can play in so many different ways. And I'm going to have some more discussions coming out around builds and some other stuff related to that later on, so stay tuned. In the meantime, there's a lot of links down below, including a playlist which has guides and playthroughs and beyond, so hopefully you'll check that out. Stick around. I've got more Tainted Grail coming down the pipeline. Stay safe, everybody, and happy gaming.